Hello, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, come on in. We are now on video number 4. Fix my lighting. I can't even believe myself that I stepped up to the challenge and I am now on video number 4. I mean, getting me to do 1 initially was a big deal. But today we're going to talk about who am I? So discovering who you are after abuse because you change. So let's get started. Before I get started, I do want to say my name is Paula. I am a transformation coach. I help individuals who are recovering, exiting, or transitioning from abuse to step into abundance, learning how to discover your purpose, gaining that power, reclaiming your power, and just being a fruitful, prosperous, and amazing person. So before we get started, go ahead. You can click on there's a link here so that you can be notified whenever I post new content and new videos. A few of these videos will also be going onto my website. So what I'm doing here is I'm working on a series called You Are the Prize, Be Heard, Be Whole. And the 5 videos that I make this week are going to be part of that package. So if you are viewing my videos and something is resonating with you and you think that I would be a great coach to coach you to an amazing future and a great present as well, make sure you visit www.directingpaths.com, schedule a free clarity session with me, and see if we're a good fit. Let's get started. So that is a very loaded question. Who am I? I've said this quite a few times in other videos that when you are in an abusive relationship, it could be marriage, it could be girlfriend, boyfriend, it can be family, workplace. When you're in an abusive relationship, a lot of who you are has been chiseled and chipped away to mold you into someone more malleable so that you can continue to be abused and continue to be mistreated and so that you can stay. So when you have the courage to leave an abusive situation, you're left figuring out, who am I? For me, I actually felt bad for myself and was like, how did I put up with this for so long? How did I put up with this from so many different people? Who am I? Who I thought I was and who I was realizing I became to endure the abuse were 2 different people. And it took some time, and it's still taking time for me to figure out who this new person is. Because the old person is gone now. There are still remnants of who I am, personality-wise, humor-wise, things like that. But trauma shifts and changes you at the core. So you're never going to quite be that same person. So you find yourself trying to figure out who you are. And that can be a very daunting, very scary time. Because you want to become someone who will never experience that again. You want to protect yourself. So I'm going to give an example of myself because this whole week I've been very transparent with you guys, and I'm going to continue to be transparent. Hey, welcome guys, come on in. I was terrified to do these videos and to share a lot of the different things that I went through and the things I've experienced. There were a few different reasons why I was afraid. For one, I didn't know who was going to be watching. Now, when you make this public, I'm opening myself up to anyone to watch this. My biggest fear was that the people who abused me in the past, or the person who abused me, people, persons, whoever, that they would watch my videos and harass me and attack me. I wasn't afraid of them. I was afraid of other people seeing the discord. So if I make this public and someone jumps in and they start, you're lying, you're this and that. I was afraid that that might happen because I was told in my relationship no one would believe me. I'm making it up. It's all in my head. And I began to believe that. So if I started to take control of my own story and share that narrative, what if like that abuser jumps on and says something about it? Like, what am I going to do about that? That's going to trigger me and put me back where, 10 steps where I was, and I'm going to go back down a hill. That was a fear of mine. And guess what? It happened. It happened. I was creating YouTube videos with a friend of mine, Nishay Lorick, who's also an amazing coach and therapist as well. And I was, trying to share my story in hopes of encouraging someone else and giving someone the tools to leave, because it was something that I wish I had. And this new person who was now engaging with the old abuser took it upon herself to seek me out and try to further abuse me. So when you're dealing with a narcissist, there's something called flying monkeys. Think of the Wizard of Oz. And what they do is they do the work for that narcissist, for that abuser. So you can be getting abused by proxy. So that abuser is not necessarily the one who is getting on your lives, getting on your feeds and harassing you. No, they have manipulated someone else to do the dirty work for them. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Invisible Man. It's something like that. So you're telling people, no, I'm afraid of doing this because I think this might happen. And they're like, well, has it happened? Has this person done that? And you're like, no, but I know they're going to do it. Like, you start to feel like you're crazy. So because I had come out of an abusive situation and I was starting to find my voice and regain my, my understanding of being, a lot of times it can turn into aggression because you get that attitude of, no one is ever going to do that to me again. And so when I saw that person jumping on my business page, which I was using to encourage clients and to bash me, the Nigerian blood that runs so strongly through me was standing up yelling. So the first thing I wanted to say is, me. No problem. I want this problem. You know what I mean? Like we can do this type thing. But I had to kind of take a step back and redirect this new power that I had. It's almost like, you get out of something and you start to realize how powerful you are, but you don't know your own power. So I had to be careful with the words I was using, with the way I was going to react to it, how I was going to respond to that. It was in that moment I was learning I was a new person. I wasn't the same person. What I wanted to do versus how I chose to handle that moving forward were two different things. The scared victim in me wanted to shut everything down, be done. See, this is why I didn't want to do this anymore. I can't share my story. I can't. I just have to suffer in silence and heal in silence. That's what I have to do. But then I started to say, no, I'm not going to shut up. I've been quiet for so long. Another moment, then I started to realize I was someone new. I was no longer willing to heal in silence. I wanted to be loud. I wanted people to know I'm not that same person. I found strength. I'm not going to be mistreated. I was turning into this new person. So although for years I've worked with people who have been in abusive relationships, marriages, work environments, violent situations, what qualifies me to do the work that I'm doing now is not my degree. It's not the thousands of hours that I had to get certified to do this work. It's not the trainings I've done, because I was able to sit with my clients for years and listen to them and give them advice and give them textbook information. And it worked, and it was what it needed to do. It worked, but I couldn't do anything beyond that because I still was having an internal battle with a lot of the work that I needed to do to heal and to not be abused. So I felt like a hypocrite. I had people sitting across from me, and I'm giving them advice on how to leave an abusive situation, how to set boundaries for yourself, how to not allow your family to walk all over you. And then I was turning around and being that person, being the opposite, and I didn't feel authentic. And I realized I could not be authentic. I could not truly be the coach, the advocate for my clients if I wasn't being authentic with myself. So then I started to realize what's going to qualify me to do the work that I'm doing is going to be my story. What I went through, my transformation, qualifies me to do this work. So that was another moment when I started to realize I'm a different person. So my friend Shay, Darnell, you joined again. Hey, I was waiting for you. My friend is Shay Lorick, who I shouted her out earlier. She mentioned something, the throat chakras, right? So when it's been silenced for so long, and then you start to find it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's hard to shut up. And which is, work with me, and we could work on making that stronger and learning how to use that for your benefit. But that was something that I became aware of within myself. The more I became transparent, the stronger I got, because you don't hold anything over me. Who's going to tell your story better than you? I'll wait. The truth itself is enough. And when I started to be like, who cares what people are going to say when I start to share the abuse that I've endured or the different things that I've gone through, I felt a shift internally. I felt stronger even saying that. And there's someone who's watching this right now who wants to get to that level of being like, who cares? This is the new me. And not in a brash and in a selfish and in a rude kind of way, but in a very bold kind of way. Trauma changes you. There are studies that show that trauma directly impacts chemicals in your brain. So I was diagnosed with PTSD. You think PTSD is only in a war zone? No, PTSD happens because there's something in your brain. You're constantly in that fight or flight mode. And we weren't meant to stay there. I mean, could you imagine, I'm thinking, I've never been in war. I've never been in an extremely violent situation. How are you telling me that I have PTSD? I feel good. And then I'm being asked, well, how are you sleeping? Are you startled easily? Do you think worst case scenarios all the time? Are you just anxious for no reason? And I'm like, yeah, but that's life. It's normal. It's normal to be anxious. It's normal to feel that way. You're alive. That's, things are going to happen and you're going to start feeling anxious. And the therapist I spoke to at the time was like, that's not normal. It's not normal to feel tense and anxious and your heart in your chest is feeling tight all the time. Like, that's not normal. In fact, it's the quickest way to end up in the hospital or even worse. So I'm sitting here and I'm doing this work in the field. I'm helping people and I'm making people, plans to leave safely and to get back on track and to get their jobs or whatever they lost in the process, because you lose a lot in trauma. And I disassociated myself from my own pain and my own situation. So when I started to do the work, that realization hit me that I wasn't the same person. I changed. I changed to protect myself, and because once you also know, you can't unknow. So once you know that people have to keep you in a state of confusion and fear to control you, and you start to get that power, like, wait, you mean to tell me that actually you're afraid of what I might do? All the time I was afraid of you, but you're afraid of me figuring out my power? You understand? So that's a moment when you start to have to kind of laugh a little bit. I mean, for me, I was just like, wow. What I was looking for, I had inside of me all along. And it sounds a bit cheesy. It sounds a bit kind of like, okay. No, seriously, you have something in you. And I've said this throughout the course of these videos, that there's something in you that's so powerful that people are trying to shut it up. And once you start to to feel that power, and you start to see that shift and that change within you, it puts you quite a few steps above. And each moment, each hour, kind of like if you're lifting weights, each time you go back and you lift something heavier and heavier and heavier, you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Now you have to be mindful of what you do with that new strength, because sometimes people come out of a situation of trauma and abuse and they can become the abuser, because it's a very fine line. So you want to be responsible with your new power. Yes, your history is not your destiny. Absolutely. Your history is not your destiny, but your history definitely can set you up for your purpose. Because all of the stuff that you go through, everything that you've been through, at some point plays into who you become. And we are always becoming. We're always becoming. So asking yourself, who am I? When you remove yourself from trauma, abuse, and toxicity is a great question to ask yourself, because you're acknowledging that you're not the same. And now that you've acknowledged that you're not the same, so what? What happens now? So earlier in my video a couple of days ago, I mentioned, why do I keep choosing the same type of person? When you get to the point of asking that question, and then now you're at the point of realizing that you've changed and there's a shift, you can't ever again get that same type of person, because you're not that same type of person who was attracted to them. Does that make sense? So you have to learn to trust yourself. Because people who are still in the merry-go-round have not gotten to that point of self-realization. In fact, they may still be at that point of it's you. And they haven't quite figured out, well, what can I do to change? Because I can control me. Doesn't mean that what you went through was deserving. No one deserves to be mistreated. And I don't understand people who get pleasure out of that. Well, I do understand it, because you have to put others down to make yourself feel better. Sorry, I'm just charging my phone up. I don't want to lose you guys. But getting to that realization when you're like, something has shifted, something has changed, and it has changed for the better, that's a great moment. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter than the other ones, because I've talked so much about of shifting and redirecting, and what will I tell my kids, and now we're talking about recognizing that you yourself have changed and what you do with that change, and finding that voice and empowering yourself and being responsible with this new power. Because if you can endure that type of mistreatment, and I don't know what yours is, everyone's is different, and that abuse, and come out of that, look at yourself and say, I'm not that person anymore. I'm now this person, and I feel powerful, and I found my strength. Taking that power and finding and if that power is new, you should find someone to help you be more responsible for that power. You should, because it's like getting like a mentor. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it, because think about a baby. When a baby first learns that they can walk, don't they usually just run? And then they can run into a wall, they can run into the door, they can hurt themselves. Think of yourself as being born again and being that new baby with this new power. With the right tools, with the right resources, with the right guidance and support, it's only going to make you stronger, better, and a motivator for someone else. But with the wrong tools, with the wrong support, with the, see, look at you doing better than X, Y, and Z, or taking that and kind of look at me, and showman and bitterness and stuff, it can be used the wrong way. We want to make sure that we're getting that power and being like, you know what, I'm grateful for this new power that I have. I don't even have the energy to use my new power to make you miserable. You're going to be miserable all by yourself. You don't need my help. That's why you kept putting me down, because you were miserable. So recognizing that you're a new person, that something has shifted in you, that's an amazing moment. That is such a great moment. And I chose to use this topic on day 4 of 5 because this is where when you're finally realizing that you are the prize, you're becoming whole and you're becoming heard, then you've made that change. You're making the change, and now you have to sustain it. And if you're listening to this and you are coming out of something and you're needing someone to help you really use that power for your good, to step into abundance, to shift that energy, redirect it, put it towards something amazing and purposeful, what's stopping you from scheduling a clarity session with me? It's free, 15 and 20 minutes. It's an investment in yourself that is so worth it, and it's priceless. I am living proof that there is life and abundance after abuse. Not just life as usual. There is abundance. I'm living proof of that. That you can be diagnosed with PTSD, ABCD, RASPECT, whatever you want to call it, but that doesn't define you. And you can use that and you can shift into an even better person. I'm living proof. And I've met other people, other women and men who are also living proof of that. Let me help you become responsible with your power, because this is new. You're a new person. You're reborn. It's your birthday. And that's amazing. What's stopping you from really, really making the most of this power that you have? Of realizing that you'll never be mistreated again. You'll never allow someone in your space who means you harm. Because you've learned to tap into your intuition, which is another video I've done before. I'm just doing all my plugs. But you've learned to tap into your intuition and trust your gut and know that when something doesn't feel right, it's not right, and you don't have to explain why. When you're healing, you are gathering tools to make you stronger. When you were being oppressed, you were also gathering tools, but not to make you stronger. These tools were used against you. So it's time to take some tools and begin to just chip away and sculpt and mold yourself into that new, strong, powerful person that you were always meant to be. And you're not going back. And if I'm helping you, you're definitely not going back. I'm not going back. You're not going back. I'm holding you accountable. I'm here for you to hold you accountable. So the cool thing about all of these videos are I will make this, if you do choose to do the program, I will make all of these available to you. I also do group coaching as well. So if I know I have some people who are watching in who work more with groups and communities and things like that. Everything is virtual now. I would definitely love to do some group coaching as well as one-on-one, because I'm confident in what I am providing to you. I am so confident in this service because I know it works. And I know that energy redirected into positivity only benefits you. You know how much energy it is to sustain a relationship where only one person's working and the other person is working against it? That's a lot of energy. I've known people who've left and their credit score went up. I've known people who left and their bank accounts went up. I know people who've left and that job they couldn't seem to get came their way because there's a shift in energy. That energy is so important. So I'm so excited that all of you guys have been tuning in so far. I even wore like a little dress for y'all because I know yesterday I was looking a little bit, going through some stuff. But there's one more video in this series, and I'll announce the title tomorrow. I'm super excited for this one coming up. But I wanted to give you guys a taste of a journey, because we've dealt with some nasty, ugly, not so pretty things. But I want you to know that there's life on the opposite side, that there is life after abuse, and there's abundant life after abuse. So thank you all for tuning in. You can comment on this video. You can visit www.directingpaths.com and schedule a clarity session with me. I am waiting on you. So what are you waiting on? Have a good one.